Good morning, everybody.
Hello, it's us again, Dr. V, Kevin, our LVN, and Paula, our nurse this time, our special guest. Well, today, and we are all trying to talk very loud through our masks so that you can understand us. Today, we will talk a little bit about social distancing. It was quite concerning to us watching throughout the country, opening of the states and of many venues, and in many areas, social distancing not being taken very seriously. So, Kevin, what are your impressions?
Well, I think if you take social distancing pretty serious, if you decide to go out, if you go to a restaurant, if you go picnicking, if you go anywhere, practice keeping that distance. Like to take restaurants, for example. My coworker went to a restaurant. They have plexiglass up now. Try to sit outside if possible, where there's more air circulation. When you're standing in line, maintain that social distancing. And a lot of restaurants are taking only reservations at this time.
I mean, the truth is we can't stay in isolation forever, but there are a few ways to do this smartly. For instance, look at us here, like sitting around a restaurant table or office table or later meeting table. We have chairs in between. So that's maybe not an ideal 6-foot distance, but it's pretty good. So think about at a table like that, there shouldn't be more than 4 people max, and the next table should be far over there in order to be as safe as you can. Enter your restaurant with a mask. So even here to clinic and office, we all wear masks in an enclosed system where virus is just lingering beyond the ceiling, where air conditioning is not ideal and sort of recirculating possibly the virus, where ventilators maybe move the virus into a certain direction. So it's especially speaking loudly, it's really important to having these masks on. And unfortunately, there's now more and more evidence that among us, there are many of those who have no symptoms and may never have symptoms, but are infected and are spreading the virus inadvertently to those who might get very sick. So we have to protect ourselves. I'm protecting you, and you are protecting me. That's the way we have to think about it. But Paula, you just made a reservation in a restaurant. Tell us.
Yes, so it was a special occasion for our family, so we decided to make a reservation at a restaurant last Friday when things started opening up. And it's really important to wear your mask at all times. So when I called in for a reservation, I made sure to request for a patio table outside, like an outside seating, just to make sure that, we're not indoors to avoid risk of getting the COVID. And upon walking in, I made sure that I had my mask at all times. I did notice that there were plexiglass built in between each table for the tables inside. And it was actually surprising to see that the restaurant wasn't full. I guess because reservations were required at that time, but this particular restaurant definitely was practicing social distancing, and the servers were wearing masks. One of the important things that I think people should do is to make sure you only go with the people in the same household. You don't want to just invite friends over from another household because you don't know what they have and if you're going to be exposed to COVID.
Yes, and even as a table like this, it's probably too small for any one of your friends to sit around a table. Now, we are co-workers, and we try our best to do the best we can at home, to social distance, to wear masks, to take all the precautions. So we are pretty sure that we are hopefully not infected and will not spread it with all the precautions we take. But you don't know that about your friends, even if they are your best friends. Yeah. Now, one way, we are all tired of Zoom meetings and Zoom happy hour and Zoom. So at some point, one way we just discussed might be to have a little picnic on a lawn or in a park where you bring your own food, your own silverware or plasticware, your own drinks, never share anything with anyone. And you eat that, you communicate, you have safe distancing, and then you go home, and so you can communicate a little bit. What do you guys think about
I think
that?
that's actually a great idea.
Yeah, especially because summer is coming, and I'm sure all of us would want to get some vitamin D and sunlight. So I think it's important, just if you go to a public place, keep that distance and make sure you wear that mask at all times. I did notice that where I live, there are a lot of children running around without masks, and of course, we can only try to educate the parents, but I think it's really important for parents to educate their children to also wear masks, because they don't know if they're asymptomatic carriers of COVID.
That's correct. I think one of the controversies with children wearing masks, and I'm no expert on this, but we will try to find an expert on the topic, is if they are too little and they wear masks, they start to touch it, to throw it around and to touch it from the inside, and thereby maybe doing more harm than good in terms of spreading it. But I don't know that for sure, but I think that's one of the caveats why masks
Right.
are not penetrating the pediatric world. But I don't know when a safe age starts at which you can't explain to a child how to wear a mask. Don't touch it. Maybe 8-10 years. What do you guys think?
Yeah, probably 8 to 10.
8 to
I'm
10?
no expert. I have children, so
but beware of children. That's what we are saying, because children might be silent carriers. They will not get affected by the disease to the extent that all of we could, especially if we get older. And so think about keeping them away from the grandparents and from older people for sure.
And I guess education with hand washing, that's the most
Exactly.
important thing. Even
Yeah.
if children can't wear masks, I know that they touch a lot of things, and I see a lot of children that don't wash their hands
And that-
right away.
That's another good point where you bring up is, in San Diego, we're gonna be opening malls real soon. Some of them have already started opening up. More businesses, more shops, and people are gonna be touching everything. So hand washing, hand sanitizing, good hand hygiene everywhere. If you don't think about it, you reach into your pocket, get your car keys out, and all of a sudden your car keys are contaminated, and that whole loop just starts all over.
Yes. So just because we are opening up the economy doesn't mean we can let up. We have no vaccine yet, and we have no treatment. So we have to be careful. When you come to us to clinic, we take social distancing very seriously, and we are developing a protocol currently for you to be safe, because we can't do telemedicine with everyone forever. That would also not be good medical care. So if you come to us, we have very spaced out appointments so that patients don't run into each other. We will have a screening table at the front to see if you have symptoms or fever. Our waiting room will be very spaced out with lots of space in between each seat and red tape. You will have plexiglass in there for Eric, our front desk manager and case coordinator, because he takes the first front, if you want, so that he is protected. And then we, again, for the 5 rooms we have, will probably at any time not have more than 2 occupied with patients. We have a clean sanitation protocol before and after. Everything has to be wiped down. So we will try to be as safe as possible.
And touching on that note,
Yeah.
I know that sometimes if you go somewhere and they take your temperature before you go in, sometimes it always seems repetitive. And I know sometimes nerves can be on edge. Take a deep breath. It's better for everybody. It's one of those go with the flow. You're just going to have to take your temperature, whether it's here in our office or maybe out in restaurants or in schools or in actually businesses that are opening up. I know some hair salons are going to always take the temperature. I always do pre-screening. It may not be what we want, but take a deep breath. Understand that that's what we're going through right now, and that's to help you and other people. So I know sometimes it can be really, really frustrating. Oh, I'm going to have to take my temperature again. Well, that's just possibly the new norm for a while.
And if you're going back to work as a non-patient, just in your function have to go back to work, do not use public microwaves. Do not share any silverware, plasticware, plates, cups, or alike in cupboards that are, used commonly. Do not use the sink to wash down your things or store them next to the sink. We just went through this for us when we are all coming back to work. No refrigerators. Everyone brings their food and takes their plasticware home, eats by their workstation or outside. No shared space and tables. It's just a fact. We will get through this, but take it seriously. Any last words of wisdom?
Be patient with everybody. I think we'll all get through this and we should be good.
Exactly. So until in 2 weeks, bye-bye. And write to us if you want a special topic addressed. We would be more than happy.
Stay
Bye.
safe.
Stay safe.